Thanks for joining, folks. I'm going to call this meeting to order, and it is 10:03 a.m. And this meeting is being recorded by the Greenfield Unhoused Community Ad Hoc Committee. If any other persons present are doing the same, please notify the chairperson at this time. Okay, so first we'll do a roll call of members. This is a different list of members, so that's okay.
Don't look at that one.
The roll call of members, and please introduce yourself and what you're doing on this committee. So Councillor Sarah Brown, present. Christy Allen, not here yet. Larry Thomas.
Yeah, my name is Larry Thomas. I'm an outreach worker here in the city of Greenfield.
Reese McGovern.
Present, I was appointed by the city council president for this committee.
Pamela Goodwin.
President, I was put on the ad hoc committee by the mayor.
And so Officer Zoe Smith.
Zoe Smith, she, they represent the Greenfield Police Department.
Thanks, everyone. And now we'll have the approval of minutes from last time. Is there a motion to approve May 22nd, June 6th, and June 26th meeting minutes?
I move.
Second.
Excellent. Any discussion? I have discussion notes, and you do too. You go first.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I was sorry.
Oh, you were trying to do the everybody.
I was doing that. Oh, yeah.
Okay, my discussion notes are that I really appreciate Tammy for taking these excellent, thorough meeting notes of very lively meetings. And I have a few small amendments, which I'll just list off. So May 22nd on page 4, amendment to change it under other comments included from Councillor Brown stated that a group called Pedal People in Northampton, who had a partnership with a campsite to perform weekly disposal of waste, had volunteered their services for Greenfield. And amending that to Councillor Brown stated that a group called Pedal People in Northampton had a partnership with the campsite to perform weekly disposal of waste. They didn't volunteer to help us, but I wish they would. And then also June 6th meeting minutes on page 13. It said, it's under the community member McGovern reported the following outreach updates. And then I would like to amend that to say that committee members McGovern and Green visited and canvassed the Days Inn, which is currently under construction and become a Marriott offshoot hotel, and change that to say and will become a Marriott offshoot hotel. And then I have two more, sorry.
No, go for it.
And then on page 17 at the bottom under discussion, Councillor Brown had spoken to Senior Policy Director Eric Tars of the National Homelessness Law Center and relayed some nuanced concerns regarding sanctioned encampments because they did not want a situation where it was ideally an interim solution until there was enough indoor shelter for anyone who wanted it. And just for clarity, striking through the they did not want a situation where part so that it reads, relayed some nuanced concerns regarding sanctioned encampments because it was ideally an interim solution until there was enough indoor shelter for anyone who wanted it. And then my last amendment is to include on the June 26th meeting minutes, two guests who the audio was unable to pick up who they were. So that was Lieutenant Jason Haskins and Sergeant Megan Odier. Yeah.
And can I ask a question about minutes?
Yeah.
When I open up a document and it's 22 pages long and I went, oh my word.
Yeah.
So is there a way, and I know Tammy does a fantastic job. So a lot of times it's very accurate, but it doesn't say who said what. But when we approve these 3 months, does that mean the next time we could just get the minutes for this meeting to look at? Because not until I went through the 22nd page did I see the survey was attached, for example. So I just find that like daunting to get the minutes at the last minute and then have to figure out which I've already looked at and which I haven't.
Yes.
So I don't know whether there's an answer to that, but just from my viewpoint, hopefully we're all caught up now, right? And then we approve this next time and we're looking at those only.
Yeah, you can
That's-
ask Tammy that.
I can go and ask
Yeah,
that.
That is typically how it works. Yeah. Once you're all caught up, you're only
Right.
approving the minutes from that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
we just had a lot to get
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. We just have to catch up. I make a motion that we accept all the amendments as presented by Councilor Brown.
Thank you.
Second.
Great. All in favor of accepting the amended meeting minutes? That's a wrap. That's everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so now we are in,
We still need to accept the minutes as amended.
oh,
So I make a motion that we accept the minutes as amended.
thank you.
Yeah.
Second that.
Right.
All right, all in favor? Okay,
Thank you.
all right, so all the minutes have been accepted now with the,
Thank you.
And both motions as well.
Awesome. Okay, now we have public comment, and just as a heads up to everybody that we have been requested to respect public comment time for guest participation or for anyone from the public, and then for separate that out from the rest of the discussion time when it's committee members, and if we have a guest primarily speak, that guest is speaking to the part that they're added to for the agenda, and then they can chime in if needed elsewhere, but like otherwise they're not fully participating in the rest of the meeting. So that's how we will, and we are not allowed to use comments in the chat, even if it is during public comment, because the state is concerned that we might be misrepresenting comments in the chat. So, but if anyone wants to participate, feel free to reach out through the contact information on the website. For if you search this committee, and then my contact info is there, and we can add you to an agenda in the future. And we really appreciate the liveliness veering on chaotic. So that's all right. So with that,
And if you're on Zoom and would like to participate in public comment, please unmute or make a note in the chat that because of an access issue, you can't unmute, and then we'll recognize you.
so with that on public comment, I'm not sure if anyone, yeah, if you want to come up to the table to speak, you can both come up. There's the mic will catch you that way.
Okay,
And if you want to both come up at the same time, or you could,
say that again, sorry.
you're welcome to both come to the table, or if you want to talk.
Let's pull a chair up.
Okay, I didn't sign up to.
Oh, okay, if you want.
I'll mostly cover and plug, yeah, my other.
Say your name, your organization, and where you live, like a town or.
My name is Natalie Bertzis. I work at the 3-county Continuum of Care, which is part of Community Action Pioneer Valley, which my office is here in Greenfield, and we serve the 3 counties of Franklin, Berkshire, and Hampshire County. I live personally in Leeds, and I'm here today to kind of advertise and plug our point in time count for the summertime. The 3-county COC has responsibilities as collaborative applicants and COC leads for the region related to homelessness. And one of those is to capture as accurately as possible a census of people experiencing unsheltered homelessness. Now, we are required to do this every winter time, and we conduct this through surveys that are carried out by volunteers and community service providers. And right now, we are working to carry out a summer point in time count. So this is a little atypical for us, only that it doesn't happen every year. We try to do this every 2 years. And our goal is to collect de-identified data points on people experiencing unsheltered homelessness. And this would be occurring for, based off of the date of July 20th, 2025, which would be a Sunday coming up in the next couple of weeks. And so what would happen, and what we're kind of just announcing and sharing with the community, is that between Monday, July 21st and Saturday, July 26th, community providers, volunteers, people wanting to self-report or disclose we're trying to collect demographic information about who was experiencing homelessness on Sunday night, the 20th. So the night of the count or designated night would be Sunday, the 20th. And so providers have from the 21st through the 26th to survey people to say, hey, did you have a safe place to sleep on Sunday, the 20th? In the wintertime, we also are collecting usually shelter data from shelters directly. We're only going to be focusing on unsheltered homelessness this summer. And I actually brought copies of drafts that will be published online in case any of the committee members are interested in looking at them. There's going to be a few ways to participate. We'll also have an electronic version available, so people do not have to record responses by paper. There will be a link that will be available, and we'll be working on flyers with QR codes for that, and it'll be posted to our website as well so that any providers can do this. In other communities, I used to be a volunteer for the point in time count in Austin, Texas, where I moved from a while ago. And, any volunteers and also law enforcement, like any help that we can get from folks who might be encountering people who are experiencing unsheltered homelessness, anybody can participate. We've tried to make the survey language a little bit plainer and more clear on what's being asked. These are all optional questions too. And so we just really want to encourage anybody who would be interested or think that they may have a way to participate and contribute to just reach out, check out our materials online and make a plan to count. In the wintertime, in January 2025, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, there were 26 people in Greenfield that are deduplicated that were experiencing unsheltered homelessness. We would imagine that those numbers would be higher in the summertime when there's less winter shelter expansion or, maybe less use of couch surfing or other ways that people might access shelter or safety, things like that, as they would in the winter time. So aside from that, this is just a piece of my role at the 3-county COC. I also want to plug that we have several committees that maybe members of the community might be interested in joining or hearing about. We do have a work group for interim housing. We have Persons with Lived Experience Action Board that we're always looking for members for. And we also facilitate coordinated entry. And my team member, Vega, who is probably online, is somebody that we can connect you to if anyone's interested in learning how to become a coordinated assessor so that they can advocate for people to access the limited housing options that we have for people who are experiencing homelessness in our area. And then also with me is Emma Coles, who will be facilitating our domestic violence and also some of our Emerge Coalition activities going forward. And so just wanted to make this connection and hope that my team members, Vega and Emma, can continue to attend in the future. And I will leave the paper copies, just if anybody's interested of the draft. These ones will be posted on our website by tomorrow, along with the link to the public forum. One last note about the point in time count for anybody who wants to participate. We cannot collect data before the night of the count. So you can't even on Sunday evening, technically, until like 10 p.m. survey folks. So anybody, and it's written on the directions and things like that. But, just wanted to kind of throw that out there. We have to ask, after the fact. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wish we could ask follow-up questions, but we will save that for future agenda. is there anyone else who would like to give public comment, perhaps? Feel free to come off mute if you're on Zoom. Um, Okay, we will close public comment if we don't hear from anyone, but we appreciate folks showing up and also feel free to leave if you, whenever you want to. Okay. So we will close public comment. All right. So next on the agenda, we did have a guest speaker who is not here currently, so we will skip that part, but we're also joined by Pamela McBride of the Greenfield Public Library. So Pamela, if there's anything that you would like to share as updates or things that feel relevant to this committee, we'd love to hear it.
Good morning, everybody. I was just wondering if you were going to drop a paper survey at the library. I know that we have, yes, that's the one. I'm not in the library today. But if you can drop it off or if I can pick it up from someone, that would be great. We do have the QR code flyer kind of distributed throughout the library. I don't think I have anything else at the moment.
Pamela, I'll be bringing the paper copies by after this meeting.
Okay, great. Just yeah, hand them to somebody.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have my notes in front of me right now. They're in this packet, but we mentioned several locations besides the library. Summer Eats, I don't know where that is taking place in front of the food co-op. And I'm going to be out of town pretty soon, but I do have time this week where I would like, if this committee decides I'm going to stand somewhere at a certain time with my clipboard and with that, I would like to get that ball rolling as well.
We do have survey progress on the agenda. We can move it to talk about it now, or we can come back to it if folks have preference. Yeah, feel free to chime in, Pamela.
I was just going to say that the library, Pamela, the library does summer eats on Tuesday nights from 5 to 6 p.m. and it's fairly busy. So it's a good turn. It's over 150 families that show up if you want to come there.
What's the time frame again?
5 to 6 p.m. on Tuesday evenings.
Thank you.
And then I think Wednesdays is the skate park and Thursdays is just roots or something. I'd have to double check that, but summer eats is throughout the week around the city as well, so.
Can I make a motion that committee members coordinate after this meeting to decide who will be standing the clipboard at what location this week?
Sure, yeah. Tammy also said we don't really need to make that many motions, luckily. She said, yeah. So I think it's presumed that if anyone would like to
Then yeah,
follow the scheduling
committee members, let's plan our times.
Huddle for a minute.
Yeah.
without being in a forum.
Right. I also, well, I don't understand that, but I also would love to see if Larry's going to have some of the hard copy forms at Wildflower Alliance.
Yes.
Right, Larry? Was that an understanding for
I
you?
would love to have some, yes.
Okay,
Hard copy. It's much easier than QR code with the folks I work.
yes.
Okay, so I think let's wrap up survey in this bucket of the agenda. And then another thing is, I'm curious if it would make sense to even, like with the point in time count, if that is even a good time to also consider doing this survey outreach. You've helped with the point in time count. Does it seem like this would make sense then, or it's already enough of the survey? The point in time count.
This is different than the survey, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, do you think that people would be up for doing both of them
Yeah.
in one sitting, or do you think that it would be better to separate them, Larry?
I probably would separate.
Yeah. Sense.
It has a designated time.
Right.
You know, that's very
Just-
strict about when you can even do it.
Mhm.
Maybe just can mention it word of mouth that it's happening or something, but. Cool. So, yeah, so anything else on the survey, there's the paper copies for folks and the flyers. And I guess just to mention that Reese did amend the question, if you want to say when you amended.
Sure. So on the survey, it is the same as what we discussed before. I added one question. It's on the first page. And we have the question, what's your current housing situation? How long have you been unhoused? And how did you become unhoused? And then I added a question after that that says, what do you want your housing situation to be like? And this was prompted by discussion in a previous meeting about what people would like to do under ideal circumstances. So I added that in because it's an opportunity for us to get more direct information from folks who are currently experiencing homelessness about what their ideal would look like, what their goals and hopes are for their housing situation. And again, this is all anonymized. And if folks want, they can skip questions. Yeah, so that's the only change to the survey. Otherwise, it's exactly what we've looked at before.
That's a wonderful question, Reese. Thank you for writing that.
Well, Sarah's,
So those are
Sarah's
accurate
idea.
and what I printed out are wrong, right? I only printed a couple. So that's the accurate updated one?
so I had sent out to Tammy, who forwarded it to the committee. So if you went with the most recent version from Tammy, then it's the right one. Are these the ones that you printed?
Yeah. Printed them this morning.
Yeah, so this is missing that question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted for clarifying. Great, thank you.
And Tammy did a great job of printing these, so they're double-sided, which means it's only one piece of paper, which is ideal on our end because we don't have to juggle stuff.
And Tammy said there's 60 copies, which is
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And who do we give them to after we have answers?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The ones that are at the library will be collected by the librarian team if we are not there in the moment and someone fills one out. And if we are there in the moment, we can hold them. I'm happy to be the point person where at meetings, we can collect any that have been filled out and I can hold them all. But yeah, my recommendation would be outside of the library or Wildflower Alliance, don't leave them places because then it adds a place that we have to go and collect them. So the library and Wildflower Alliance, we have people who are willing, able, and have agreed to like collect them in one place and then bring them back to the meeting one way or another. Otherwise, they should be on a clipboard or with a person who's helping fill them out and then collected when they're completed.
Well, thanks again for shepherding the survey.
Yes. I'm looking forward to getting these out and starting to get some information back from folks.
Do we feel good to go on to our access to resources agenda topic? So under this, we have cooling centers, storage lockers, trash bags, public bathrooms. So we can, and Pamela, feel free to like chime in if you have anything as well. So were there any updates on cooling centers that we wanted to share? I think Pamela, you had some updates.
Well, I've been trying to pursue, we had a period of days when it was extremely hot and that survey was based on dates. But I have not been successful about like, how hot does it have to be? I did have a conversation with Pamela McBride at the library and the state has published, this is pretty unhealthy, but it was like in the 80s, for example. So I don't know who's going to make the conversation. I did have a conversation with the mayor and she said that she and the fire chief will determine that. So that's great to know, but then how does it from that determination get into the hands of the people who are trying to figure out where to go fill the water bottles and are they going to, stay in the campsite or go to a cooling center? Last time we met, there was talk about them not wanting to really go to a cooling center, but we need that as an option. And we do have a list of like when Salvation Army is open for feeding lunch and when they are open at Arch Street. And, but that was for a specific period of time during a heat wave. So I guess I need to figure out, or we need to figure out, like, how is that all gonna work? I was going to email Chief Strahan, the fire chief, but I didn't get to that either.
I really appreciate you bringing this up because this, for me, sort of captures something important about unhoused experiences in this town specifically, but also regionally, which is that we have some really nice resources like cooling centers, but the inconsistency and the way that the information is disseminated about inconsistent services are both really big barriers. Which, it's like, it's great to have tools, it's great to have resources, and also if people don't know when they're happening or available and or people can't get information about when they're available, then they're insufficient in terms of like community care.
Well, and can I add, go ahead, Larry, then I'll go after you.
But
We have a sign at the fire station. We have electronic sign on the common. And then it does become kind of word of mouth among the community of the unhoused. And the day that the library was the only place open until I think it was like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, it was like still 99 when everybody was told, okay, go away. So I agree with you entirely on like, we need a plan. People need to have advance notice about things. So if they are willing to go in, and I know the library people have been fantastic, but if Salvation Army is going to stop serving lunch at 1 and everybody's told it's cool in here, but now go away, I don't know whose job it is to follow up with the 2 people in charge of Salvation Army, because there is always this like, who's talking to who and how do we spread that word? But that frustrates me to no end.
I appreciate what you all said, both of you all said today. I know in the wintertime, when it was like they made a temperature, I think it was like 15 degrees or something. Sorry, I'm sorry. That was my phone. I don't remember the exact number, exact temperature, but it was a temperature when the chief, the fire chief and the mayor would make the decision. And then there would be a number of emails sent out to all type of service providers. We would spread the word to folks about the warming shelters and stuff like that. There's no thing for the summer. We talked about that. There's nothing for the heat. There's a list of cooling centers, but there's no temperature when this thing is supposed to, when everything's supposed to pop. And so it's really it's a lot of holes in a lot of different things. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, Swiss cheese.
There's something else too, which is that I don't know if everybody is familiar.
Sure.
I don't know if everybody's familiar with this term, but there's what's called a wet bulb event, which is when it's over a certain temperature and the humidity is over a certain percentage. And that is an extreme risk of dehydration and heat related injury. And that was part of what was happening during the heat wave. And so I think it's important that as we continue this conversation with organizations in town, that we're not just talking about temperature, but we're also talking about humidity because of the way that the climate is shifting and because wet bulb events are becoming more common everywhere. We didn't used to have wet bulb events except for like once in an ever. And now it's going to be more common. And so as we talk about temperature, we also have to be talking about humidity, because it could be 85 and totally reasonably manageable for a human body, or it could be 85 and the humidity is 100% and suddenly it's really hard to be outside.
Totally agree.
And I will.
I saw somebody not be able to breathe yesterday.
Yeah.
The humidity was real high
Yeah.
yesterday.
And it wasn't as hot as
It
it was
wasn't
in
as
the heat
hot.
wave.
And this person had in front of Greenfield, having a very difficult time breathing. I stopped and talked to them, and they wouldn't stop. They just couldn't breathe.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a little bit different to the winter, because in the winter, it's too cold to be outside. But in the summer, it
Wind chill.
can be,
They
right,
factor that into.
right. But in the summer, it can be, it's hot, or it's so hot plus the humidity that it's dangerous.
And I will point out that as people age, I mean, I see it all the time, there's more and more COPD, there's more and more emphysema, there's more, and we do know that our unhoused often are smokers. So just breathing in that high humidity is a real challenge. So it's not just a temperature thing, so.
Yeah, I mean, we would call that comorbidities, and it's not just like lifestyle choices like smoking, but it's also ineffective access to healthcare in general makes people more susceptible to these like climate and environmental stuff too. That's a great point.
So we're saying we want like an emergency alert system. Like, yes, there's cooling centers and they have hours. Sometimes it closes when it's still in a range that would be dangerous. So we're saying we would like a protocol of like a way to notify people and like some designated spots that could be made available and have someone there.
Can we suggest to the powers that be that the same alert system that's used for the warming centers is used for the cooling centers, in terms of we've passed the threshold and now we tell everybody? Because it sounds like there's already a system of communication that exists there. So I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be easy to just tap into that and use it in the summer at the same time as, or the same way that we use it in the winter.
Well, I know for the warming center, the original email comes from, I believe, Deborah at the opioid task force, then it comes to Housing Greenfield, and Housing Greenfield distributes to all those people, and then it's just sort of like the tentacles go out. I would propose that maybe a few people on this group could try to set up an appointment with Chief Strahan. I think he's probably pretty busy. Or both the mayor and that, so that we could just say we're alarmed. We need some information about dissemination, but we also need to know about the humidity level. It's not just the temperature. Because we've got, I think, well, every time I check the weather, we've got a series of rainy days and then it doesn't happen, or it's just a mist. And then we're gonna, like we said, expect some more hot weather, certainly.
Yeah, just to piggyback, I think we're doing obviously, part of the discussion is that the warming centers, as we've learned, right, we need to be more deliberate about how we kind of organize them and stuff. But we've been forced to, because those are overnight, right? And with the cooling center, I think a lot of these cooling centers are just, oh, we happen to be open, so put us on the list, right? And it's caused the situation where, right, nobody kind of knows what's going on. So I think that's great, right? Like, if the mayor and the chief are making the decision, right, that we've reached some sort of critical point that we need these cooling centers, awesome. Then we have a centralized kind of flipping the switch, and then working out from there. How do we notify? How do we get people to agree to, minimum hours or whatever it is?
I'd be interested in being in that meeting.
That'd be wonderful. And Pamela? Other Pamela?
Pamela McBride.
You have your hand up.
Sorry, I was muted. I just did a quick little research and for dew points, and 60 degrees dew point is considered uncomfortable. When you hit 70, that's considered unhealthy. Just to give you a little reference.
That's percentage, dew point percentage?
Yes, percentage. Yeah.
Thank you. That's useful.
So if you're interested in following up, do you want a buddy with that, or?
I would love a buddy.
I'll
We're
go,
talking about with the chief?
Yeah. Oh, you're
Yeah.
Reese's buddy.
Right.
Cool.
And then do we have to wait till the next meeting to get results, or is there a way that we could
You can
find out what they found out?
You can forward to Tammy notes from a meeting, and then it would go on discussion, and then it would be part of the public record next time. We're not allowed to like have a conversation about what you found out, but you're allowed to like forward information for us to digest.
We can document the meeting and
Yeah.
share it with Tammy.
Right, but then if we're waiting until the next time we have our meeting
yeah,
to address the issue.
To discuss it,
Okay.
yeah.
well, I mean,
If it's hot in the meantime is my concern.
so I guess the thing is like, we could meet with the chief and the chief could go, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to implement it tomorrow.
Right,
We can't discuss that decision, you know, amongst ourselves until we have an open meeting because people need to be able to listen to that discussion. But we could share with the committee, hey, FYI, everybody, no discussion, but the chief said he was going to do this. We can talk about it at the next meeting. So,
Super.
and in a perfect world, I think we would get some kind of answer like that, and then we could discuss, how's it been going?
right.
And I will say, it's always a staffing issue. The mayor has said to me, privately, hey, you and I will just go staff someplace that doesn't have staff. And I'm happy to do that if I'm available and if she's available. So it is, I mean, the library isn't open on some days past 2 p.m. That's a staff, so whatever the location will be, I don't know whether CSO has a staffing issue. I can't remember what time they close down. I know they serve, they do the laundry and they have, but that's that internet working thing that we seem to have this who's doing what problem.
I know
Thanks.
John Zahn is like our designated emergency, what is it? Emergency shelter.
It's a cooling, all it is a cooling thing,
Oh,
because the fire station became the emergency.
Oh, okay, now
the
that's-
fire station.
okay, thanks. Yeah, update. All right.
Yay, good idea.
Fruitful, right? Talk about. Let's go on to storage lockers. I attended the public hearing on that. And I didn't to release the CDBG funds for lockers, but I don't know anything about like a location. I don't know if anyone else knows more, maybe you
I was not at that meeting. Can you just summarize what the decision was?
to,
Was it approved?
it was, yeah, like it was just like a public hearing about that decision. It was just a very short, brief, 15-minute update, pretty much.
I tried to get online and then Anna said to me, I saw you couldn't connect. And so then I wrote my written statement. I think I copied you into it. So I made a real strong argument on why we need lockers locked up for their belongings. And we're waiting, I think, to hear from HLC about that kind of thing. And then, so it's in the works anyway. We're waiting to hear back, and they know it's a serious need, all of them.
But the intent is there to spend that money on lockers. I just don't know the details. Okay, great.
Just don't know the location yet, but the funding has been approved.
Great.
Trash.
Before we actually move to trash,
Oh,
can
yeah.
I ask a question? This is related to services, but it is not a point on the agenda. And we had talked at a previous meeting about the Portland Loo and the structures that are at the skate park, and that was potentially managed by a private company.
This is on the agenda. as
Oh,
well.
it is on the agenda. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
so first we have trash, then we have
Oh,
bathrooms.
okay, never mind.
So we will bathrooms here. So trash was honestly Robin's update, who I somehow missed in the roll call, and Robin is unable to make it because is on call right now.
I have some.
Oh, do you have trash?
A little bit about
Yeah.
trash. Because previous meeting, the chief talked about how somebody has to pay for these big blue heavy bags. And that comes out of the police budget. So I made a call and left a voicemail with Amy Clark, who has the Interfaith Council funding. And then Susan asked me to put that in writing, and Amy has some other things going on in her life. So last night, I was told that the trash bag situation is being handled, as far as Amy and Dave know, by the sheriff's department, which had come up in previous meetings, right, Larry?
Well, I said it, I knew there was some conversations
Right,
about the sheriff's department going out and cleaning up the woods where a lot of those campsites have been abandoned campsites and picked all that stuff.
right. And so tying in with that, what we were hoping to do, and I've heard this from a few people, is we would love to have the unhoused work alongside of anybody that's decided to volunteer and safely pick up trash and bag it. So the question now becomes who in the sheriff's division, I think Laura is the name of the person over there. But I, again, it's like, okay, so we have to now say to the sheriff's division, when are you doing it? Can we help you? Can we make sure the unhoused are also available to assist? Because when I went to the campsites, they were all downtown and there was nobody there except Officer Smith and Officer Llewellyn and I visiting the various areas. And there is a lot of cleanup, and we've talked about why that's really difficult for them. If you don't have bags to put stuff in, then that's a problem. And getting these big bags out of an area, like the dog park, I don't know if that means that big trucks go, or big cars go in across the ball diamond and kind of sit there waiting to have people bring out these things. So the logistics of it is what I would love to see happen very soon, so that it's not one of those things where we're in the fall trying to figure out if we're doing it as late as that.
And I know Christy's not here right now, but Christy has been asking for support with cleaning up her campsite, and because I think the barrel is like not enough down there.
The barrel gets full immediately, and then what do you do?
That parlays a little bit. So the sheriff's department now has a sheriff's deputy, Jake McClay, who is assigned downtown, mirroring my role downtown as well. And he was selected through an interview process and recommendations because he has a very similar kind of ethos and perspective as I do. And he will be working a more morning shift, a 9 to 5, whereas I work on 11 to 7. So we'll have some overlap in the middle of the day, but then we'll have some expanded coverage. I will talk to him. He wasn't able to make this meeting today, but I will talk to him and at least if he can't answer the question, get that coordination, the point of contact at the sheriff's office to see about their intentions with cleanup and who would be in charge of coordinating if, community volunteers wanted to also participate.
Can we invite him or another representative of the sheriff's department to the next meeting?
I like that.
Yes. Yeah, he's brand new in his role.
Oh.
I would expect like brand new. I think this is his like 6th day on the job.
Okay.
Today. I will say for the sheriff's department, I think he said for 12 years. So
That's the piece that I think is important.
Yeah,
Even if he's new to. his
yeah.
role.
But I guess what I was trying to say was he should be here. We should have him on the agenda so he can, talk. He knows a lot of the people personally. He has a lot of great relationships with people that I'm still building that he's already had for a decade. But I think if there is another, I suspect, hi, Christy.
No, glad.
I'm assuming there is somebody with the sheriff's department who can speak to the trash thing specifically, and I can find out who they are and see if they're willing to also join the meeting. So.
I'm sorry, Laura, I gotta leave early.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate everybody's conversation this morning. It was very good.
Actually, good timing, Christy. We are talking about campsite cleanup and trash. So if you have any.
And the update is that the sheriff's department is potentially managing some kind of provision of trash bags or provision of trash services question mark. We don't actually know.
Can I, even though you're talking about cleanup, throw something out there? I ended up hearing last week or so that dog park might be getting closed towards the homeless people. So I thought I'd throw it out there.
I have not heard anything to that
Yeah.
effect, so I don't, we can,
Thought I'd throw it out there. I
Yeah.
just heard it from Dave.
Dave,
Mm-hmm.
who's Dave?
One of the homeless people that lives over there in the woods.
Okay, we'll either, let's wrap up the trash bags discussion, Christy. I want to make sure that we either address that like in the meeting or, as an aside. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Cleanups though, sheriffs, what did you just say?
I just was saying sheriff's department is potentially involved in something around trash bag provision, trash removal, unclear as of now what their role is, but confirmed that they are involved somehow.
And that this Jake McClay is going to be invited to be on the agenda at the next meeting. So
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
So when you walked in, I was saying, so Jake is the sheriff's department version of me. So he's downtown with me now. And he was supposed to be here today, but I'm gonna ask him at least who the person is over the sheriff's department who is apparently coordinating or responsible to help with the cleanup and what that's gonna look like. And so hopefully we'll have that answer. We'll have them at the next meeting.
I can do some help with cleanup.
Yeah, well, and thank you. And part of the conversation was, right, like, are they going to be willing to allow community members to help participate in that? So, yeah.
I think that's something that should be a possibility for other
That's what we're
people.
hoping.
I mean, the other community is what helps mess it up, so to have them help clean it up would make sense.
That's what we constantly been asking to have, including people at the table to do it. And I know in the past, the mayor had taken, I think, a broom and a dustpan, and they were grateful to be able to have it, but you do need the bags and you do need the
Maybe.
gloves and all of that, so.
Maybe if they do allow it though too, we can find a way to get all the homeless people into a group split. We can ask them and see if they would help to pick it up.
When I was there, nobody was around, so it's coordinating.
Mhm.
We're downtown, but I was on the.
Yeah.
So we can coordinate that.
Yeah.
That's the hope, is to intertwine all of them.
Christy, I have a question for you. Do you have a sense of what time of day would be best to sort of get access to as many folks as possible? If someone were to like come to the dog park, right? Like Pamela and Zoe. Is there a time of day that more people tend to be there?
Most of the time, people are off with their jobs now that are homeless. The nighttime is the best time to catch people, is when they're off work.
Thanks.
Like
So, like-
5 or after
Okay.
would be like the best time to catch them. That's around the time we hear them in the back making a lot of noise.
Okay.
I think someone's back there using a chainsaw. We've been hearing trees getting cut down.
Oh,
So just to give a warning out there, someone's got a chainsaw.
Okay, good to know.
I'm thrilled to hear that many people have found employment. That's great news. We
Quite a few
had
of
talked
them out
about
there.
that at a previous meeting, remember?
Quite a few of them out there have jobs,
That's awesome.
you know?
We feel good on trash, campsite cleanup, and good to go on to public bathrooms. And also, as per usual, we will not make it through our agenda, but that's okay because they're just here as like items to like pull from. But maybe we'll do public bathrooms and then we can afterwards think about what to prioritize for the last half hour.
So we had talked previously about the Portland Loo at the skate park, and there was, from my memory, an open question about who manages that and where the chain of management falls, if it's DPW, if it's a private company. And the question that I have about it is that I believe as part, I don't know if this is the same management stream or if it's different, but on the other side of the skate park, next to the bench, there's a solar charging station. And right now, 3 of the 4 solar panels are broken. And yeah, and I would love, right, to see that be fixed. And I have no idea who is responsible for that.
That's Carol Collins, was previously responsible for the solar charger that was by Energy Park, and I think that's her real house. She's the sustainability and energy director for the
Okay.
city, and her office is across the hallway. But I
Would that
give you her email.
Like, would that be coming out of funds from the city, or would that be somebody else paying for it? Because it needs, if it needs to get repaired, it's gonna cost something.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's in their budget.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm happy to follow up with her.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it could be literally just something as simple as she's not aware that it's broken. You know, that's exactly the type of thing that everybody grouses about, and then it just, you know, never actually got back. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then on the bathrooms, my assumption was that this is also something that Robin researched, and I can pull up Robin's email on this, honestly, about
Yeah, please.
what Robin said, and I kind of forgot that I have it in written. The subject is sad porta pot at Energy Park. Someone in the public. And then Robin responded with some more info about it. There are 3 public full-service toilet sites in Greenfield that DPW maintains: Portland Loo at Skate Park, Public Library, and the Town Hall. All of these are cleaned and maintained by central maintenance 3 or more times a day based on need. The DPW is doing really good work. There are also a small number of porta potties in Greenfield, including one at the dog park and one at the pocket park. These are the service United toilets. Robin called United to ask about how and when they're serviced, and they admit that they are responsible for the service, but are unwilling to give details about scheduling to any but the contracting party, that being some part of the city government that they would not specify. Robin asked DPW about this, and they insisted that they do not have this info and that Robin needs to call United. So
So we should ask
So
the
it's a
mayor.
catch 22.
we should ask the mayor about the porta potty servicing. And so whoever is actually responsible for scheduling services to the porta potties in town, if it exists, has hid themselves quite well.
I do believe I meant to double check and I absolutely got distracted, but the Energy Park one, at least I think, has like the service checklist, where like when they come by and they service it, they make a note like this bathroom last clean on whatever. And I think it was about twice a week. But I meant to go back and actually double check, and I don't know what the Green River Park is either, but we might be able to get that answer just for itself.
Also, something that Robin identified in this email is that DPW does not keep a publicly available list of restrooms in the city on their website and will not provide one when called. Same with Parks and Rec. So we should make it very obvious where you can use a public bathroom.
I
And
was gonna
that's,
say, can we make one and post it at like the library?
yeah.
Mhm.
No, honestly, something I was thinking is like, we could have, this is related to all access to public resources, but I also meant to ask Larry, but I forgot about the water refill. Do you know if there's a water refill? Sorry.
In City Hall, there is.
I mean.
At like Mesa Verde?
Mesa Verde, no,
No,
I
okay.
think there is.
But like, if we had a map where we were just like,
Mhm.
this is every public bathroom, this is every like water refill, this is the charging
I
station.
know there's a water refill over at the dog park.
Mhm.
I know the cemetery's got a water refill spot.
This is like some places you can throw out.
I love the map idea, an 8x10, and this is where you do this and go here.
Yeah.
And, you know, they already have the map on all the different churches that are serving the foods and
Right.
the pantries and those kind of things.
Yeah.
But this idea of like where to go for that,
Map for access to public resources.
If we could find like a common spot to grab all of like, in general, the resources, to put them on one map, to put them in a spot in the common, might be a better idea, so that this way they can look around at what.
Yeah, I think
resources
that's
are
great.
there.
I'm meeting with the Greenfield Business Association directly after this meeting, and that also feels like something that the
Nice.
GBA would like
Yes.
either have available or want to make available to people visiting the city. So I'll ask her what she's got.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the like tourist maps that exist where there's sort of like a cartoonized version of the city, but it's
Yeah.
really easy to see where stuff is. And I'm sure that some organization, maybe the business association, has that for Greenfield. If we could use that as a
Yeah.
base and then add onto it, that
Yeah.
would be perfect.
Free community meal,
Uh-huh.
Tuesday and Thursday,
Uh-huh.
like Summer Eats truck visits here on Wednesdays, yeah.
Because we have the info, like the 413 cares pamphlet, there's literally one, this tiny yellow one up on the board.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're seeing it visually. would
Oh,
help,
sure.
and really helpful. And also I have, oh, wait, you have one right there. Oh, no, is that something?
Yeah, it's the 413 cares, yeah.
Mine is white, and this one
Congratulations.
needs to be. I know.
I'll say that looks
Well,
different.
I'm wondering if it's the same thing, but this needs to be updated. This is put out by the city of Greenfield on Community and Economic Development. Needs to be corrected on Maria's church. And then I drew a line past Days Inn Family Shelter, because that's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So the question became, I think, I was speaking with Maria about this, Burge, and
Who is in the room, I believe.
yes, who's now here. So I think this has to go back to Amy Caroline and say, can you make these editing things? Because I picked up these at the Justice Center, and they're given out routinely from people from the House of Correction or probation. And I said, how do we get these in the hands of everybody else? And so I would take, like, I went to this and I went to Recovery Project and so forth. So I know this is great. And this is the same thing where the chief said we should laminate it to me on the town common. Laminate it, fold it in half.
Well, that's the thing I'm saying is that's
So that it
resources
doesn't get
right
wet.
there.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So yeah, if we can
resources.
find a way to put that, make it bigger.
The other thing is, yeah, this right now is,
Restroom services on with it too.
yeah, so this is a quarter
So
page.
put all services together.
If we, if we did it as a half page and folded it and had a map with numbers,
Kind of like that.
and then have the numbers on the different resources, that would let people access it who are either struggling to read or struggling to see, or would rather see something than have text.
I wasn't really thinking of like them being able to flip it though. Like if they can get their hands on it, it could
Right.
somehow get destroyed. So like somehow put it behind some sort of like glass for two sides on the glass.
Well, that, if we were to design something that's a half page,
Mhm.
right, you can take one side and print it on the other half of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and put it up as a single-sided document. But also then you can have it something that folds down to this size,
That way
but
it's-
includes all of that information.
That makes sense.
I just want to, before we get too far off, I want to just say how important I think that map will be for accessibility. A couple times a month, somebody will come up to me downtown. They are new in town. They want to know like where they can get a bite to eat, where they can stay, like those types of things. And they're not always native English speakers either. And so somebody who's never been to Greenfield, who is on foot and English is their second language, being like, oh, One Arch Place is a shelter. And they're like, where's that? And trying to like give like on foot directions to One Arch Place where they don't even know the street names. I think like a map would be like really, really powerful. Like be like, hey, here's the food tonight, you know, like and like, you know, walk this way type thing would be really.
Little visual symbols, you don't
Yeah.
even need as much language.
Yeah.
If only there was a way to like put it online for people's phones though. too.
Oh, there's a way.
Oh, yeah, there's
'cause that would make it a lot easier maybe putting it online.
Yeah.
Like the Google My Maps thing is
Yeah.
easy as a
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah, but also if there's a document, it can just
Yeah.
be up on, if
Center
the
of
city will do it
council.
on the city website, if the city won't do it on everybody else's website.
And I like that electronic board. If you stand there long enough out on the common, and
Mhm.
that's also got the map. You know,
That-
I didn't
they
even
can
think
take a
about
picture
that.
of that on their phone and
That
say, now I've
board
got it.
is run and managed by the business association, not the city. So we would just need to partner with them.
I was about to say,
And
wait.
you
is
already
that a
have that
board
meeting
on it?
coming up?
I've got
Is that a
I have
map?
I have a standing monthly meeting
Wow.
with the executive
It's-
director over there, so.
That's got a map on it?
Well, no, but Pamela's saying that like there is for like activities, like, so the business association members can share their calendar of events on that interactive screen. And so people could go up to the screen and be like, yeah, what's happening for live music tonight type thing. So I obviously can't make promises, nor can I twist the arm of the business association, but I think like, we could certainly figure something out.
Ask.
I
Yeah,
also-
that is like mutually beneficial.
I think that there's also an argument to be made towards the business association to say like, if people know where the public bathrooms are, they are not going to come in
Yes.
and try and get into your bathroom.
Right.
Because they know where
Which
they
I know
are.
is a pain in the butt for a lot of businesses.
Well, on the flip side, there's businesses that do want to open up like, oh, I'm available for water refill or bathroom. Like some businesses might, like
Yep.
Last Ditch, I know has
Yep.
said that they would like to be included in like a
Yeah.
availability of resources, so.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is a great topic that we're scratching the surface of that we will get into next time on the agenda.
Could we at some point throw in figuring out how to do some sort of extra shower systems for them?
Yeah.
Besides salvation, that's a horrible idea with it being like the only place people can shower.
Yeah, there's an acronym, it's WASH.
I know for right now, me and Fernando are gonna
You
do
know what
our own.
the
little-
WASH acronym is?
Sarah,
Sanitation or something. Would you say?
I know me and Fernando are gonna do our own little, for now, pump type system in the back. back there.
It's a water, sanitation, and hygiene. So like making sure that your community, that's like the acronym that you want.
Like public health.
Public health, like what is a good community provider? It's water, sanitation, and hygiene. Specifically, because those are three specific things, right? And so just putting a faucet out isn't enough if, somebody can't actually bathe there, in a respectful way or something like that, so.
And we did price, I think you might have looked about $50 for the little portable shower thing.
I didn't
We
price
could
it,
look
but
at-
but I had said, when you had ordered it, Christy, what was the cost for the shower that you ended up getting?
I don't remember. I'd have to look up what it was.
I think when I looked, they were between like 50 and 80, depending on,
So,
yeah.
for the ones that don't have any heat to them.
Yeah, that's just a system to hold water and then put it over your
Yeah.
body.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think mine was around like 80 something.
So I think we're mostly good on this topic. Maybe Robin, I don't know if anyone wanted to like follow up with the mayor about the porta potty contract meeting service, but I guess.
Well, somebody's paying that bill.
Right,
So,
exactly.
so if they just are gonna say, well, we don't know who, and we can't divulge, then, I'll try to figure that out, I
Okay.
guess. To me, that's important, like, if they're saying they're doing it 2 times a week or 3 times a week, it's like, I have camped when it's
Yeah.
looking like it's never been done.
Yeah.
It's like, forget it,
I suspect it just merely comes down to United's is like, we don't discuss people's individual contracts because they don't want to, right?
Right.
And that the city's like, well, United cleans them, but really it is whatever's enumerated in that contract and who the contracting authority is for the city, I would start with the mayor.
Well, right, my impulse is that if the company won't tell us and the city doesn't make it available, the mayor is the person to just go to and say, this is a piece of information that should be publicly available. It's not, we need your help.
Yeah.
And I think, and also Matt Conway, the communications director person who is leaving at some point, I don't know when, but will include whoever is the communications person on like putting some of the public resources on the website and whatnot.
So I'm gonna talk to the mayor about this thing,
That'd be great.
sooner the better, right?
Great. Yeah.
It's not good, right?
Oh, I agree.
Okay, I'm asking you. I've been out there.
I have.
Yes, I'm
It's
sure,
nasty.
yeah,
It definitely. needs everything
ASAP.
bad.
happy to
Yes.
figure that out. Thank you.
Especially as we've got homeless people that do go into those bathrooms and they do throw up in those bathrooms, it seems quite frequently. So it makes it smell worse.
Well, and if you are somebody who is struggling with an opioid addiction or with trying to get out of an opioid addiction, that's going to include stuff like vomiting. And if there's nowhere else to do it, that's where you're going to do it.
And I will admit too, there has been a few times where my boyfriend has found products sitting in the bathrooms. So that's kind of a problem too, is we don't really want them somehow hiding them in the bathrooms.
Oh, I had one more thing I wanted to ask
On
related.
access to public resources.
on access to public
Yes.
resources, which is sharps containers. Is there a sharps container at the dog?
Yes, there is a
There
service
is.
container, yes.
Okay, is it one of the tapestry boxes? Do you know?
Not too sure if it's a tapestry one or not.
I
That's
will,
something we need to include on.
I
the
will,
map.
I will follow up with tapestry to
Yeah,
ask where their boxes are and how they get
Let's take a
serviced.
look at that one, figure out what that one is.
I'm happy to start a map also.
And if it's not, I'll call that one to figure out what one that is exactly.
Is there sharps container at the state park at all?
I think
Over by the
there's
loo?
Portland Loo.
By the loo.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a receptacle inside of the loo that is a
Even better.
small round hole that you can,
Even better.
yeah, insert needles to. But I mean, I think like, you wouldn't know it was there unless you
Right.
saw it. It's not like if you're walking by, it says like sharps container or anything.
Awesome. So we have 20 minutes and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 topics. You can do 2.5 minutes for each, but I'm wondering, I feel excited. I have some like sanctioned encampment updates potentially that could be exciting to share. But what else feels like?
I would love to talk about the 8th grade civics project.
We've
I
been
know
like
that
delaying
Win
for a while.
got involved in that and I did as well. So I feel like that keeps getting tabled,
Yeah.
shoved off.
So let's do that and sanctioned encampments. Hopefully we can get to those two.
I don't know, is everybody happy with that thing?
Okay.
Um,
And if with no objections, I don't think we don't need to make a motion apparently. With no objections, we will.
so we just
proceed.
nodding our head.
Exactly.
That's
Not a lot.
Or go,
Yeah,
wait.
it's all on the agenda. We're free to float around. If we
Yeah.
want, yeah.
So for people that don't know, I spoke with Rebecca. I cannot think of her last name now, but, huh?
I think it was Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, right. So Rebecca Zimmerman had an 8th grade civics class last year, right toward the end of the school year. And I believe every city councilor and the mayor, and so it was forwarded to this ad hoc group. And in sitting down to read these amazing, perceptive children's take on the unhoused in the city was pretty cool. Especially since I had been a teacher and especially focusing on 8th grade. So I read each and every one of the letters and then I called the school system the day before school ended. They had only a half a day the next day and they tracked down Rebecca and she came to the phone and spoke with me. In the course of that, she said, one, her 8th grade chose that as a project. It wasn't something she said, okay, folks, how do we feel about? They wanted to delve into it. Why does it exist? What's going on? And then she said also Wid Perry had answered immediately and she was able to read Wid's email to the class. So I said, I'm so thrilled to be able to talk to you. Would you be able to tell them tomorrow on the half a day of school that it was great information, that I would take it back to this ad hoc committee and talk about it. So, and I can think of one particular person in the 8th grade, very, very perceptive and good ideas that this group didn't even come up with, some of them, but I didn't review them recently. What I was proposing was, I said, people could go in and talk to an 8th grade class. She's not teaching civics next year. She's going to be teaching reading and she's going to retire in the middle of the year. So, but I'm still, and she had me send an email off to her and to the principal, I think his last name is Brown at the high school. And so I think looking forward, these are our future citizens in the city of Greenfield, and to ignore their take or not honor their hard research. And I mean, they did PowerPoint, some of them, they really delved into all kinds of issues and started problem solving. And so I think it's a follow-up thing for us to be able to continue. They would be 9th graders next year if they continued on in the high school. I just didn't want that to be a dropped ball. Everything from like, how can we help them so they smell a little better, or, you know, that kind of, one of the kids was talking a little bit about that. So I'm happy to talk about it another time, but I just think that we need to follow up with kids of all ages.
Yeah.
You know, there are kids of all, I've heard a city councilor say, my kids are scared to death to go downtown. And I'm thinking like, well, that is your job to correct that as a parent. That would be my take on it. So whatever we decide to do for outreach with young people and unhoused and teenagers or whatever is really an important thing to think about down the pike. And I will say that this family fun night on Friday nights over here at the Common would be another good way to mix that unhoused community in with whatever games and whatever karaoke and whatever else is being planned.
It would help housed and homeless get along better.
Yeah, so, and that's gonna be on Friday nights in the month of August. There's something every Friday night that's being planned, along with possibly the business association and involving eating downtown and doing stuff. So that's all I wanted to say is, and I don't know if anybody else was able to send an email back to Rebecca in time because school was like over right then and there. But it's really important to address how the little kids feel about, you know, let's say the bad language, you know, like that's a pretty scary thing for a little toddler running around and a parent's trying to protect little ears, you know, so it's an outreach thing that I think can be followed up on.
It's great. Thanks. And we have time to think about, like over summer, we can try to
Figure out community
Yeah.
things,
prep something for the fall.
activities. Try to figure out some before fall hits too.
That's true, ideally ahead of that. Does anyone else want to comment on? I want to look back more at it. I only read like some of them, but I want to, yeah, it would be good to read through.
Oh, their little letters?
Yeah.
Oh, they were so good.
Oh.
So good. I mean, I don't know if we'd have to get parental permission to, I reached out to one parent because I recognized the last name, but you know, it'd be great to like publish it,
Yeah.
pass it around and honor all their hard work. So.
Wait, the letters that they have, you know how we're putting the map and all that into the center of the town? Why don't we find a way to plaster all their letters up? Just so that like people walking by can read them.
Yeah, I think that it would be a really cool thing to talk with the school and talk with the parents to see if some or much of that work can be shareable, right? With some anonymization, because it's really important to protect kids' privacy. The other thing that I'm thinking about with this is, and this is coming from my personal experience, like, yes, I want to make community connections, and yes, I want there to be direct human interaction, and also I get really wary whenever there is like a marginalized group that's being asked to come and educate anyone, because it's really easy for that to become a like, you represent every experience and you represent every perspective on this, and it can both really exploit people's experiences and harms that they've experienced in particular, but it can also provide, it can make a space where like things are experience, the diversity of experience is really getting flattened into one person's perspective. And when you have like the sort of the model unhoused person, and it's just something that I think as we pursue this, because I think we should pursue this, I think it's something we have to keep in mind, is to really center like the ability of people to say no to being that in that kind of position, and also like the ability of people to know when they're speaking about their experience and know when to say something like, that's outside of my experience. Because that's also that's a kind of educational role that not everyone can do, and not everyone wants to do, and not everyone has any experience doing. And that's just an important thing to keep in mind. Anytime you have a community representative coming to provide some kind of educational experience for kids.
Thanks, James.
Did you have an update about like a legalized?
I do.
camping?
I reached out to Dignity Village, which is my favorite of the models, which is like the village model in Portland, Oregon. And to ask them about liability because they're on city-owned land and they next to like a leaf litter composting site. And all their legal documents are on their website. They have a contract with the city and there's an indemnification clause to hold the city harmless. And a contract requires Dignity Village to maintain their 501c3 nonprofit status as leasing the land and to maintain an insurance policy with enough liability coverage, all reasonable, normal things. So I think that and they also have all their like bylaws up on the website and all the like community agreements that anyone who joins has to agree to. So I think they seem like they've really figured it out and the person who emailed there was very happy to talk more about it and she shared some really cool insights as well. She said that I was asking about operating costs because it's not for free. And they have a minimum, so they serve, I think it was like, they do like 50 residents and the average amount of time that someone lives there is 1.8 years. And then they have a variety of different buildings that are, I think they have, she said that they're, oh, I'm sorry, I'm like she and this person's a they. So they said our city code originally allowed for 2 emergency camps to operate in economically distressed situations. For us, this has been the chronic housing shortage. We've successfully since gotten the city to upgrade the codes to allow for more humane living conditions and to allow for more alternative shelter sites. There's still more work to be done on this front. So I think that's how they are able to have shelters that don't have their own running water or something, or they have like a common sanitation kitchen facility. So we can pursue that more and look into that. And then also they have 2 staff and it costs and they serve 50 members. And then in the winter, they have a greenhouse that serves 10 members additionally for like, that's like their warming center essentially, which I thought was like a very creative idea. Like a greenhouse is like cheap. It's like, and they said it costs $500 per person per month with the staff. But compared to the pod shelter model, that usually is 3,000 to 6,000 per person per month. So like this is like
Extremely cost effective.
extremely cost effective option. Yeah, so I think there's more to explore with this, but
So don't turn it into like another shelter deal,
exactly.
like one giant building with 50 people in one building.
Yeah, I think
That's just,
And Dignity Village is an outdoor space that has been, that now accommodates individual small structures.
it sounds really nice.
it's like people build tiny houses there and structures and volunteers from the community help people build their structures. And I also was doing some like campground research in general about like looking at like sanitation code. But
So maybe the next time we convene, you can show
Yeah.
again, the screen share.
yeah,
That was amazing, but I'm looking at the clock. now,
Yeah.
So,
exactly. So that's really all I feel. And then just to quickly touch on the housing stability and notification ordinance, which was also listed on the agenda, was that this is something to help prevent evictions. And how it works is that at the start of your tenancy or at the end, or if there's like a notice to quit, the city could pass an ordinance where landlords have to give tenants a list of resources and their rights. So this it happens in Northampton, it happens like, I pulled up like there's like lots of places that this is happening. It's a little bit harder here to enforce that. We don't have a rental registry yet, so it's sort of like in this bucket of other projects that are like inching along. So if we did have a rental registry and then we did have more like health department staff that's like overseeing the rental registry, and then there's
We get a rental registry.
what?
Where would we get?
It's right now there's currently some lists from the assessor's office, the building department and the health department, but there isn't a cohesive list. So there's a grant that's working on getting it updated. But this registry would require landlords to pay a small fee to be registered and then also have an inspection every 5 years. And so it would help with like quality of housing. If something's deemed like a problematic house, then it would also, it would, what? And then so that's an idea to like help prevent evictions, but we don't quite have like the capacity to enforce it yet, but we could still start getting that in motion.
For towns where you have seen that there is a rental registry, what city agency typically manages that? Is it consistent that it's a particular bucket of the city government that it falls under, or does it vary like that?
I think it's usually health department, but some things get flagged for building inspector, or like it depends on.
I can say that somebody 2 houses down from the Weldon was just evicted, and I involved Susan Legappick from Housing Greenfield, and the landlord just said, move out, I'm gonna charge $3,000 on the ground floor once it's renovated. And, so there was a legal agreement between the landlord and this particular older couple. And so, anyway, you cannot go into housing court without first getting the notice to quit in this state. You have to do it even if your landlord acts stupid about it. But evictions are a big problem, and calling the Board of Health on an issue creates a big issue. And I know some people who are landlords and they're not getting any rent from anybody. So they're just, they're bogged down. So, but I do think that we need that rental registry, and we did discover apartments that we didn't even know existed by the assessors doing a whole lot of work, and then you continued to do your assessment as a person too, right, Sarah? You found even extra apartments that were being rented. So, but we don't have a rent cap in a home rule situation, and we've tried to do a rent cap statewide. So, it's a concern. If you talk to Pamela Schwartz in Western Mass Network and homelessness, it's just an ongoing, constant issue. Who's housed and who's gonna be unhoused for whatever reason it might be. It's something that has to happen.
I wanted to throw out there, by the way, the housing places. I discovered recently that certain ones are like not allowing people to get into them, but are saving rooms for people in their family instead. By the way, I want to throw this out
You're
there.
talking about shelters?
I mean, like Greenfield Gardens where the homeless are. I found out that there have been a couple of homeless who have signed applications for there, and they have not been able to get through because those people that are working there are trying to allow their family to have a place to live that aren't from America. I found out that are in other states. I figured I'd throw this out there so we can try to figure out what's going on with that. So we can find out why our homeless aren't getting into those places.
Like a nepotism, like,
And you're talking specifically about like Section 8 housing.
From what I heard, Greenfield Gardens right now is the only one I heard of. I don't know if any of our other places are doing that, but I know Greenfield Gardens is. I don't know if Light and Woods is doing the same thing or what, or if Elm Street or.
Some of them are public housing, and that's Jack Redmond, who belongs to Housing Greenfield. Others are privately held and not, but they're still, it's gonna involve
Who owns the
kind of
Greenfield?
funding.
Who owns the Greenfield Gardens?
I think it's a privately held thing, but I don't remember whether it's that. I mean, Elm Terrace and some of those are run by Jack Redmond. He's in charge of, the housing network is over there based in Turner's Falls. And so some of them are funded that way. My building is funded federally, separately, owned privately. So you have to look at who owns Greenfield Garden.
It's privately owned, receives Section 8 certificates from Greenfield Housing Authority, and also rents at market rate.
Yep, and when it's privately held, because those are the people that came in with their lawyers to the Board of Health once when I was there live. So,
And then it's also a question of like, how many Section 8 vouchers do they have? And like, are those units filled? Are they, how are they assigning those units?
I have a hard out at
Yeah, we can-
11:30, but I just wanna. I don't want to say glossed over, but I want to make sure something's not lost in the sauce. Dignity Village, right? I mean, we've been kind of using this term like sanctioned location. Sanction kind of implies that it's like illegal, but like we're like gonna like try to figure our way around the laws or whatever, but like.
Just have campground zoning.
Right, yeah, like Dignity Village is legal,
Yeah.
right? It is lawful. It like there is dignity in living there, and also they did it by not having to invent anything, right? That like, as you like rattled off, these are normal contractual agreements that nonprofits and private organizations have with municipalities and government. And that it seems so out of reach because we don't have anything like that around here, but really like, these are all the tools that are just laying around us right now, just combined in a really meaningful way. And so to make something that is legal, right? We're not trying to skirt anything here. This is literally just like, oh, we can do this if we want to. And it's a value judgment at that point. And so I think like, it's really important that I think we like kind of hound that, like, we can do this if we want.
Exactly.
We can do this if we want.
Yeah. And when Robin and I went and looked at particularly like the DPW land, just near Stop and Shop, that's immediately what I thought, because it is.
Have a driveway already? Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. That's And then I will just forward an email. Sorry, I forgot to include announcements on this, but just on the eviction topic, there's going to be Springfield No One Leaves is hosting an eviction sealing clinic in August, and they wanted to do one in each county, and they asked me if I knew what groups to invite, and I was like, we're a good group to invite. So stay tuned for that.
Cool.
But other than that,
Next meeting?
our next meeting, I assume it's 2 weeks from now. Is that okay? I like the,
That's been, yeah, just a standing every 2 week
I
thing.
won't be here the week of the 20th.
oh, no. Oh.
Yeah, it would be 24th would be
Yeah.
2 weeks from now.
If you want to meet, I just won't be here.
We could do the other one, the 31st, and if that works.
The 31st would work for me.
I would love the 31st.
Great.
And we have a bunch of action items that include meetings, so.
Exactly.
11:30.
I just wanted to make sure.
And 11:30.
I will relay that to Tammy.
Not to be rude.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Oh, wait, sorry. Wait, can we do the like meeting? This meeting is adjourned.
I make a motion.
Yeah.
That we adjourn the
And we
meeting.
don't have a quorum.
Second. And say that all in favor. All of us. Great. Thank you so much for
Meeting is
joining,
Thank you,
always-
everybody. I appreciate it.
everybody. Calmer. You want?
Yeah. Thank you all.